Karl Jobst, he's going to talk about how the fake blindfold speedrun fooled everyone. I was one of those everyone. Fooled! Bamboozled!
Hello, you absolute legends. Last month, the streamer known as Queen Ponsalot pretended to beat the dragon Alatreon wearing a blindfold. This garnered her quite a lot of attention, but when people experienced with the game she was playing and those experienced in blindfold speedrunning saw her video, they realized immediately it was fake. Unfortunately, Queen Ponsalot's effort of faking a blindfolded run was extremely poor. Not only was she using strategies that are just flat out impossible to use while blind, but the blindfold she was using was so thin and obviously fake, even we, the viewers, could see straight through it.
I believed this was valid for saying she cheated on the first run. I thought this was a very good point.
Soon enough, people were making videos calling out her fake run, and Queen Ponsalot was beginning to get quite a lot of negative attention. As it turns out, the public doesn't appreciate liars and people who try to fake gaming accomplishments for clout. After receiving backlash,
Yep,
Queen
people
Ponsalot
hate
fought
that.
back,
People
announcing
hate
that she
it.
was going to do another blindfolded run of the dragon Alatreon, but this time with more proof. On the 14th of February, she went live, and she was stacked to the gills with ironclad anti-cheat measurements. This time she wore a genuine blindfold. She had a hand cam. She had input display. She had paper covering up her monitors. And she was live. Surely there was absolutely no way she could cheat. And with all of this in place, she did it again.
See, and I thought this added credibility as somebody who is not a blindfolded expert. Like, she did it twice. This time she got legitimate things to make the blindfolded run credible. And I was like, oh, well, that's great that, like, she wanted to be more credible and, like, on the second run did this. But, yeah, it was sussy from the first run. I guess I just thought that, well, if she could do it twice with all the legitimate things, maybe this just adds to her credibility, and maybe she just didn't realize that she needed these extra factors in place in order for them to be legitimate. And because she had all these things, I believed her.
She beat the dragon Alatreon in front of hundreds of people. She was so convincing that it seemed like everyone now believed she was legit.
But anyway, yeah, it looks like the Alatreon blindfold kill was actually real.
He believes that it was actually real, that she did it a second time. I point this out because Asmongold, if he believed it, that's fine. People were criticizing me like, oh my god, I can't believe you're so dumb to believe it. But I was far from the only person to believe it, is my point.
Maybe we got it wrong. Maybe Queen Ponsalot was just more gifted than everyone else, and she could really do things blindfolded that no one else could. Or maybe, just maybe, she just cheated again, and we don't know how. Honestly, when I first saw her new successful attempt, I didn't know how she did it. But I did know two things. One, her gameplay was impossible to do blind. And two, people always underestimate the autistic power of speedrunners. I was committed to finding out how this was done. I envisioned sophisticated cheating methods that would be impossible to detect. I figured that whatever Queen Ponsalot did must be pretty genius to fool everyone so easily. For 3 days, I meticulously studied her video. I worked with experts to clarify game mechanics. I spoke with programmers to see if we could replicate her run using advanced software, but I was getting nowhere. And then, after 72 hours of running into dead ends, I finally saw it. I noticed that Queen Ponsalot did something that gave everything away. The curtain was lifted, and the
See, a lot of people just don't have a trained eye for this stuff.
magician had exposed her secrets. I had the smoking gun, and within 20 minutes of seeing Queen Ponsalot do this one thing, we knew exactly how she did it, and we had the proof. As it turns out, I was on the wrong track the entire time. I thought the method she used must have been smart because no one detected it. But in the end, it turned out to be the simplest and dumbest method I could have imagined. In this video, I'm going to tell you
I feel like as somebody who is an expert at catching cheaters and speedruns, I feel like if it were me, right, I would feel sad, disappointed even, trying to be the master detective of how she cheated just to find out it was a stupid reason. Like, how underwhelming.
Exactly how Queen Ponsalot faked her most recent blindfolded takedown of the dragon Alatreon, and I guarantee that you'll be shocked at just how many things she did to try and fool you.
Could you imagine, like, you think you're onto something, you think you're gonna, like, find the most crazy 5-head cheater that's ever been in existence, and you're gonna be a master at, like, finding out the truth, revealing the grand scheme, And the scheme ends up being, like, stupid.
I hope you enjoy.
Darn!
Legends, let's be honest. If you're watching my channel, it's because you are a gigantic nerd. I'm a huge nerd. You're a huge nerd. That's just the way it is.
True.
And as nerds, there is nothing more important or
I am a
fulfilling
nerd.
than
He's
having
talking
a
about
really
me.
good gaming PC.
I'm a
which
nerd.
is why you should invest in a PC from today's sponsor, Starforge
Oh.
Systems. Especially for people
He
like
got
me who don't
sponsored
know how
by
or just don't want to build their
Starforge.
own PC. They offer amazing pre-built PCs at all different price points.
This is a huge W.
You're going to get the
That
best
he got
you can for your
sponsored.
money. Starforge PCs are used by tons of your favorite creators,
Like, from
including
all of
myself.
the
They are built by hand in Austin, Texas by experienced
discussion,
builders.
controversy,
they look
or
beautiful,
whatever going
and they
on.
run smoothly. Plus, they are reliable, coming with a
That's such
full
a
2-year
huge,
part
like,
and labor
W.
warranty. I rely on my PC for
Nice.
absolutely everything, including this YouTube channel. My standards are extremely high. I need something powerful and I need something quiet. And the PC
I'm happy
I
for
got from
them.
Starforge Systems was literally everything I could have asked for. Please get yourself a PC you deserve. The link to Starforge Systems will be in the description. Go and check out their PCs today. In my previous video, we looked at Queen Pongelot's earlier blindfolded runs, where she used a really thin, transparent sheet of material to cover her eyes and pretended that she couldn't see. In this case, it was so easy to debunk because everyone can just use their own eyes and see that her blindfold was fake.
And this
As
was
far as
valid
her gameplay was
criticism.
concerned, it's also really obvious that she can see as well. She claims to use the audio to know exactly where the monster is, but years of blindfolded competition tells us that this is impossible. I also highlighted that beyond knowing where the monster is, it's also impossible to detect whether you are looking up or down. So if you see a blindfolded player using their mouse to look up or down, you know they can see.
See, this is something I had never thought of as a casual, you know, Monster Hunter player that has not even gotten to Iceborne yet. She constantly has her camera at the right place. Like, it's not too high up. It's not, like, shooting at the ceiling or down at the ground.
Her latest
It's
attempt,
such a good
we see
point,
all
but
of
I
those
didn't even
impossible
notice.
gameplay
Like, I didn't
mechanics
even
in
think about
action
that.
once again, and in some cases, it's even worse. She will access the menu in order to use items and mess up the camera, and then immediately and perfectly fix it. She even does this when the dragon is not making any sounds at all, so there is quite literally no audio cue, like in this example.
I also learned from this that apparently there's like this thing where they can click a key and it auto centers their character. Like it snaps their camera back to like a certain place. I think that's really cool. It's just something I learned like from watching this stuff.
Beyond the impossible vertical movement, we also see crazy head tracking in real time that is just laughable. I mean, just look at this gameplay.
Oh, it's a shortcut on controllers?
She's
nice. I
rolling
play on mouse and
underneath the
keyboard,
dragon,
so I would have to
keeping
set
the
a key
camera
to
on
it.
its head perfectly as she does it. It's hilarious. And remember, looking up does nothing. It doesn't let her hit any higher, so there is literally no point in doing this other than to see the head, which makes no sense if you're blindfolded. All of this seems very confusing because she appears to be wearing a proper blindfold. And as I mentioned before, her monitors are even covered up with paper, meaning
And
that
this
you can't
is-
see
this
them
is what
anyway.
made me so
This led me to
curious what
consider
they were gonna
other ways she
find.
might be playing without seeing.
Because
One way would
all
be
of
some
his
kind
points
of
are valid for
aimbot.
why
Aimbots are
it's
common in many
sus.
games, so it's possible
I
if she had
definitely
some
didn't
kind
know.
of sophisticated software, it could help her aim on the dragon. This
As a
would solve the
casual
problem
viewer,
of
Andy.
locating the dragon and also solve the vertical aiming issue. However, this wouldn't solve all of the problems, like being able to dodge attacks that don't have sound cues. In
Yep.
one instance, she accidentally hooks onto Alatreon's leg instead of its head, and immediately releases before targeting the head again. But there is no audible difference between hooking onto the leg or the head, so there is no way she should have known. In order to solve issues
okay.
like this, I
Yep.
theorized that maybe someone was talking to her and giving her instructions through Discord. With someone in her ear
Oh.
and some aim assist software, you might be able to play like this without sight.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, having somebody like in your ear to tell you what to do next. I hadn't even considered that way of cheating either.
Reached out to Monster Hunter World expert TSC, who actually developed the first known aimbot of the game.
Oh my
According to
god,
him,
look at
if
his name, guys, look at his name.
Monster
The Monster Hunter Exploiter.
the Hunter World expert TSC, who actually developed the first known aimbot of the game. According to him, if she was using an aimbot to achieve this effect, it would require software far more sophisticated than anyone in the community currently possesses.
Oh, that's a good point. So she would really need some advanced high-tech stuff, huh?
Seems unlikely that this was the method. The most common theory I saw online was that she was using pre-recorded gameplay. Maybe she beat Alatreon earlier and just played that gameplay footage during her live stream. Something like this has been done before. I even made a video
really?
about a speedrunner who cheated by using a pre-recorded run during a live charity marathon.
I feel like that would be the one of the ways that is easiest to cheat, I would guess.
If this was the case. Queen Ponzelot had 2 cameras and they were both completely in sync. I studied her mouse movements and they always seemed to match what was going on in the game. And so did her keyboard inputs.
Interesting,
her mouse
gotcha.
sensitivity was very high, so a lot of movements are hard to see, but I couldn't see any discrepancies. It did appear as though she was actually playing. In my opinion, this also ruled out the idea that someone else was playing instead of her, perhaps by using remote assistance. This is an idea that the YouTuber Abisoft spent some time investigating to see if it could work. But aside from her mouse movements matching her gameplay, latency issues would also be a huge problem. Some people suggested that she was using a magician's blindfold and she could see through it. But this is extremely unlikely. Her blindfold doesn't look like any fake blindfold I could find, and we know what blindfold she has because it was recommended to her. Blindfolded expert Mitris has the exact same one, and it looks exactly the same. One other thing people noticed,
so the blindfold
and
is
trust
legit.
me, we noticed this immediately too, is that after Queen Ponzelot killed Alatreon and lifted the paper up, there was something on her screen. And it seemed like she noticed this and moved the paper back down to try and hide it.
I pause it. What is on the screen? And what is on the thing? Is Monster Hunter on her screen?
Oh no.
And then watch what happens. She puts it back down to cover. She's quickly trying to hide it. And then the game comes back up on screen.
So wait, the game wasn't open on the main monitor?
And the reason it appeared is because she hit the Windows key. In fact, she hits the Windows key multiple times throughout her blindfolded attempts. This bugged the hell out of us.
What the heck?
And we had no idea why she was doing it. Could this have something to do with how she was faking her gameplay? At seemingly random times, she would hit the Windows key, which would tap her out of the game. This caused her inputs to stop working. She would then need to hit the escape key to try and get back into the game. Watch this clip where she hits the Windows key and then spends 10 seconds trying to get the game to work again.
Yeah, she is like spamming the Windows key.
This is bizarre, and she does this multiple times without ever mentioning it. She acts as if this really weird thing that she is doing isn't happening, which is obviously really suspicious. Ultimately, it seems like this is some kind of unrelated tech issue that she was having with her eye tracker. Multiple times before she even started her blindfolded attempts, we can see her hitting the Windows key in order to fix something. She even mentioned it earlier in her stream.
I'm trying to figure out what she's using. Like, why she would...
I think this tech issue has nothing to do with her blindfolded attempts.
Yeah, why
but
though?
An important question to ask is how did she know there was a problem?
Yeah.
She was blindfolded and couldn't see, but knew there was some kind of technical issue and always tried to fix it. And she did all of this without looking and without saying anything to her audience. It's all really bizarre. In the end, however, after discovering the truth, I realized this was a giant red herring. After several days of brainstorming, I was beginning to run out of ideas. But then, in the middle of the night, I revisited a question I had from day one. There was something that Queen Ponzelot did that was really strange, and I couldn't figure it out. Immediately after she covers her main monitor with paper, while she is attempting to distract her viewers, she holds down her left mouse button for 10 seconds. This was actually one of the very first things I noticed when investigating her run.
That's so
but
weird!
I never had an answer as to why she did it. Normally, when you hold a button down for a few seconds, it activates something. And this was one of the reasons I thought she was using some kind of software. But I had overlooked something that was so obvious and so simple, I can't believe I didn't see it immediately. Once I understood what
can't
she was
see anything,
doing, it
apparently.
was game over. Holding her mouse button down for 10 seconds told me everything I needed to know. It unlocked all of her secrets. It revealed to me that there was in fact a third hidden monitor.
Oh, but why does she need to hold the button down
Queen
for it?
Phones wants us to believe that she only has 2 monitors. When she covers them up, she makes sure to verbally state that her monitor on the left has all of her other stuff on it.
Okay.
To the main attraction. As
This
we
is
get our duct
crazy.
tape for our main monitor because, yeah. There's the other one. So you guys know. There it is. With all my other stuff on it. Boom.
Okay.
This is a lie. In truth, she has a third monitor to her right, off camera. Before she covers it with paper, we can see that her main monitor has her OBS streaming software on it. This shows her gameplay, and it also has her Twitch chat docked into it as well. One
Right.
thing that struck me as odd is how she decided to wait until her monitors were covered with paper before setting everything up. This makes no logical sense, and she even tries to act like this wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, like what the heck?
Alright, alright.
What the?
Now, alright.
Listen, guys, I'm empty-headed, and even me, if I accidentally didn't think something through, I would have ripped that paper right back off and just redid it. And also, I would have, like, had anxiety about doing this at all a second
But
time
the
after I
reason
got
she did
criticized the
this
first
is
time,
because she
and, like, been extra careful.
Had to ensure that what she did was hidden from the camera. This is where the beauty of the input display comes in, because we
Wow.
can still see everything she's doing, but it's obvious she is trying to hide it. What she does next is very sneaky. She lifts up the paper on her main monitor, which has
Right.
her OBS on it. She
Yes.
clicks on her OBS window and holds down the mouse key. Then, while she is holding down the mouse button, she distracts her audience with verbal diarrhea.
Where is... That's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way
This
that
is
it has to
wild.
be.
What the heck?
And,
Next is the key that I should have seen immediately. What is the most common thing you do when you hold down your mouse button? You drag windows. While talking,
Oh,
she drags
yeah.
her
So, like, if I'm on my... I even know this. I could get behind this. I know this. I stream with 2 monitors. So, like, if you see my mouse held down, it's because I'm dragging, like, OBS to the second monitor. That'd be the only reason I would need to hold down a key. Yeah.
OBS to her hidden monitor on the right. We can confirm this with the input display. We can see her hand move it to the
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And she even looks at her hidden monitor on the right when she
Oh
does
my
this.
goodness. What in the shameless? A cheater and sloppy. Most people who cheat are sloppy because they are... The whole reason they're cheating is they want credit for an accomplishment that they don't want to put effort into doing. People who cheat at speedruns and people who cheat at blindfold runs are lazy inherently. They want credit, but they don't want to put work in. So it makes sense that they get caught out from doing something lazy. Like, laziness was their motivation to do this in the first place. Obviously, clout and whatever, right? But, like, they're definitely lazier than people who try to do these blindfold runs legitimately, right? They're always gonna have put in less effort. People really, really hate when somebody gets clout for an achievement that they actually didn't do. People hate that shit. I just don't understand. It's like stealing. I feel like you get caught one day and you look stupid and get in deep shit. Yes, that's how I feel. I think it's because for some reason there is a level of narcissism with these people who cheat where they think they are good enough to get away with it. Which I think is incredibly stupid and narcissistic to think like, ah yes, unlike everyone else, I will cheat successfully.
that's why we go through what we go through, right? You know? And it's the way that it has to be. And,
She will use her OBS on the hidden monitor to see the game. Immediately after this, she pretends to move the OBS to her left monitor.
alright, move that over. Okay. Shoot. Okay. I'm sorry.
She moves her mouse to the left, she looks to the left, and she even says that she's moving something. However, we can see on the input display, she doesn't even click her mouse. Now, despite the fact her monitor on the right is supposed to be a secret, she cannot help but stare at it constantly. She even responds to this exact message in chat while looking at it.
Oh my
However,
god,
mid-sentence-
she shouldn't be able to see it. That's like a, yeah. The fact that she responds to a chatter when both of her monitors are covered is, like, indisputable.
Since she realizes how stupid this is and stops talking.
Oh yeah. Everything will be unedited.
After panicking and thinking for 10 seconds, she tries to fix this mistake.
Yeah,
and
that was a
she
big...
read the message from the monitor on the left.
Oh my...
Everything will be unedited.
Oh my, look at that face. She's like, fuck me. And that is when she knew she had fucked up.
What was the last thing you said? Unedited.
The funny thing about Queen Pongelot reading chat from her hidden monitor is that it's completely unnecessary. There is no need to have chat there in the first place, and it just causes her to constantly look at it, making it obvious it's there. And it also...
Yeah, which also shows how determined she is for clout. Like, oh my god.
It causes her to screw up by responding to it. I'm guessing she just couldn't help herself, and she really wanted to see all of her fans talking about her as she was playing.
That's what
so
I
we
mean.
know that she has a monitor to her right, but how does she see it? Well, the secret is in how she's wearing her blindfold. She's wearing it very, very loosely. It's barely able to stay on her face, and on top of that, she wears it very high. This is not how you're supposed to wear a blindfold.
Really?
Anyone who owns a blindfold like this knows you don't wear them loose, you wear them tight. If you wear them loose, light gets in. By wearing her blindfold loose, she can see through a small gap between her nose and the blindfold. The gamer Juzzy has already replicated her exact setup. In his case, he showed his two monitors which he turned off, he wore a proper blindfold, he used the exact same input display, and he had a hand cam.
Right,
With
right,
all of
because we
this,
watched
he
him
also
as well.
killed Alatreon in expert fashion.
Yep. I was curious what he did. Because he says, like, I'm legit cheating.
Did it.
As you can see now, my monitors are off and I'm blindfolded, but
oh wow.
despite my short-sightedness without glasses, I can clearly see these targets and shoot at them.
Guys, this guy is actually blind. Like, he wears glasses and he took them off, and he could still hit these targets perfectly. Because he's peeking through where his, like, nose is, because the blindfold is loose.
And why is that? It's because there's a secret here. Right now, I'm wearing the blindfold, right? But I can see out the gaps between my nose and my blindfold. And if I wore it even looser, I'd be able to see out the sides, left and right, in my peripheral vision.
I wonder how you account for that, like, online when people are doing legitimate runs. Like, you would need someone in person to, like, squeeze that motherfucker on your head. How do you prevent this?
Then the next step to the trick.
Because that's such an
is the
easy
fact
way to
that
cheat them.
Another thing you guys noticed, there's two monitors here, right? But they're not the only ones. There's a third monitor on my left.
On top of wearing her blindfold very loosely, Queen Pongelot also sits back in her chair and looks up in an unnatural way. This is to get a better viewing angle. Before her attempt with the new blindfold, she had spent around 1 hour playing with her old blindfold over multiple days and weeks. And for that entire time, she always sat like this. She was leaning forward and looking directly in front of her. This is because while her blindfold was partially obscuring her sight, she could see straight through it and was looking at the monitor directly in front of her. With the new blindfold, she can't see through the front of it, which is why she has now completely changed her sitting position so she can see down and to the side. This is not a normal way to sit, and world-class blindfold speedrunner Bubsia confirms
She is sitting different than her first run.
that when you see someone sitting in this position, it's a giant red flag.
Really?
And if I curve up even more, but that's already looking very sus, I guess. If you
How
sit
do you
there, like,
prevent
your
all
neck
of these sus
breaking.
things then? How do you
If I sit like
establish if
this, for
something's
example,
100% legitimate?
I can see half of my monitor.
Do you just need, like, strap down to the chair so you don't sit weird? We're gonna have to get legitimate speedrun and blindfold run bondage for the chair just to make sure you're legitimate and not cheating.
I can see OBS right now.
We're gonna need to, like, duct tape you to the chair in order to check if the speed run is legitimate. And we're also gonna need to duct tape your blindfold onto your head. We're gonna have to duct tape the center between your nose and the blindfold and the outsides to make sure you're not peeking through those.
Now, literally, I can see the volume meters going up. I can see the picture. If I turn a bit, I can see the other monitor.
And it's as simple as that. There is a hidden monitor on the right, and she is playing through her OBS, which she discreetly moved to it. I can't believe I spent so much time researching aimbots when the solution was so stupidly basic. And while it's so easy just to say there was a hidden monitor, which some people did, it's an entirely different story to provide concrete evidence. The fact that we can literally see her move OBS to the hidden screen, the fact that she reads chat from it, the fact that she stares at it constantly, the fact that she wears her blindfold so loosely, and the fact that she sits in such a weird position.
Yeah, chat. I think in order to prevent this for the future, we need to stop using the legitimate blindfold and instead require a bucket over the head bare minimum in order to do a blindfolded run. It's going to be a bucket over the head run, which is more reliable, and this way no one can cheat. Yeah, spice up your bucket runs with a small hammer that dings your bucket on subs and follows. Yeah. It has to be a big bucket to put it on headset. True. We need to have it be big enough that it can fit your big old dome and your headset. And this will solve the cheating with being able to see through the blindfold. Can't see through a bucket. Case closed.
All proof beyond a reasonable doubt that this is the way she cheated. But here is my favorite part. After she has killed Alatreon, and while paper is still covering her screen, she looks directly at the hidden monitor and moves the camera around perfectly. It's like she's not even trying to hide it. And beyond all of this, the simple fact remains, the way she played the game is impossible to do if you can't see. Now let's be real for a second. At the end of the day, this entire thing isn't a big deal. This is just silly, fun internet drama, and it's just really interesting to learn how Queen Ponzelot faked her blindfold runs. Personally, I'm not emotionally charged about this. I just love trying to expose video game fraudsters because I enjoy it. This whole back and forth is honestly really entertaining.
That's how I feel. Like, so many people, like, have come back to that one video where I covered this and thought it was real and just started being unhinged. And I'm like, guys, I don't know if they know, but I actually don't give that many fucks. Like, I thought it was neat if she's able to do it. If she wasn't, and I was bamboozled, it's, like, not ruining my whole day. People are getting a little nutty.
But make no mistake, her behavior is not healthy, and it's not a good thing. There are gamers who spend thousands of hours legitimately trying to do amazing things without the ability to see. Blindfolded gaming takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of ingenuity. And Queen Ponzelot keeps taking a giant steaming dump on all of their efforts. Because of her actions, people are going to trust the accomplishments of real gamers even less. Skepticism will disproportionately rise, and the public will become even more cynical. But on the flip side,
I feel
maybe
like
that's a good thing.
Oh.
The amount of people who threw common sense to the wayside and took her runs at face value is pretty shocking. Maybe people do need to be a bit more skeptical, and maybe this lesson was an important one to learn. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I think it is an important one to learn. I had to learn it firsthand because I don't know, I didn't think somebody would double down. This is impressively, shamelessly stupid. It's impressively, shamelessly stupid, and I just wasn't aware that there was such a decent amount of people willing to be this stupid.
I worked with a group of gamers who helped me do research for this video, including the YouTuber Abisoft, who is also releasing a video about this most recent run. I know for a fact he is including many details I haven't mentioned myself, so if you want to learn even more, please go and check out his video as well. The link will be in the description.
But this was
Thank
so
you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having
I
a
feel
fantastic
like the biggest,
day, and I will see you in the next video.
The biggest smoking gun is the fact she read chat when her monitors were covered. That is, like, there's nothing you can, like, dispute about that. Mooah, 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 mooah.